Before you get your cat neutered, there are a few things I wish someone had told us. Last week, we took both of our boys, Chai Kitty at 11 months old and Mercedes Benzie at 9 months old, to our local animal hospital for their neutering appointments. We decided to do one trip, one day, one recovery period for both boys together. And honestly, we'd do it that way again. Our animal hospital had a super convenient setup. Drop off at 8 a.m., pick up around 4 p.m. So we loaded the boys into their matching Temu carriers. Of course, it's Temu. Chai Kitty was furious. He wanted nothing to do with the carrier and tried every possible escape route. By the way, if you're considering a carrier like this one from Temu, one heads up, the bottom isn't very strong. We ended up cutting thin plywood to reinforce and adding a soft Sherpa pad on top of the plywood. That little fix made a huge difference. Back to the story. My husband drove them to the animal hospital, filled out the paperwork, and said goodbye. He called midday, hoping they could come home early, but nope, 4 p.m. was the earliest. When my husband picked the boys up, both boys were very groggy. They hadn't actually had surgery until right before lunch, so they were still coming out of the anesthesia at 4. Mercedes Benzie was teary-eyed and quiet. Chai Kitty was furious about the cone and made sure everyone knew it. My husband kept watch while I continued working, and we stayed very aware of the boys' behavior for the first 24 hours. Seeing them use the litter box was the reassurance we needed that they were eating and drinking, even if it was just a little bit. We gave both boys space to be cuddly or aloof, whatever they needed. Once they realized their cones were not going anywhere, they struggled with eating and drinking. The cones made everything awkward. We tried several different things. We tried taping their food dishes down so they wouldn't slide around. We went to Dollar Tree to pick up some treats to see if the boys would like that. And we adjusted bowl height and placement as well. It took about 4 days for both boys to settle into a new normal eating and drinking pattern. The treats definitely helped. Eating and drinking with the cone is a big challenge. The cats will push bowls around, bump into things, and get frustrated. Expect to experiment a little. Expect to clean up a little or a lot, and expect to encourage them. But eventually they do figure it out. The cone of shame was rough on both of our boys. Mercedes Benzie was sulky, quiet, and stared at us from across the room those first couple of days. Chai Kitty was angry, mostly because he couldn't get to the surgical site to clean it properly, in his opinion. We did allow supervised cone-free time for eating and grooming. They loved it. But Mercedes Benzie always had to be the first one to get his cone back on. He just couldn't resist going after the incision. Meanwhile, Chai Kitty would give himself a full bath and even wash Mercedes's face for him. Don't forget to allow your cats this important time for their routine, but supervise closely, and to make sure you get that cone on securely when it's time to put the cone back on. We did have one oops with Chai Kitty where we noticed he was walking around with no cone and found it in our basement. And of course, Mercedes was the one to show my husband exactly where Chai had left his cone. By the 1 week mark, we've settled into a new normal. The boys have had moments where they wanted cuddles and reassurance, and moments where they want to be left alone. We even started seeing some signs of playfulness again. Slow at first, but very welcome. If you're preparing to get your cats neutered, know this. The first few days can be messy, emotional, and a little chaotic, but your cats will adjust, they will heal, and they'll get back to being themselves as well. Hopefully, our experience with Chai Kitty and Mercedes Benzie helps you feel more prepared, more confident, and a little less worried about what's ahead. So thanks for joining me today as I shared some advice and ideas around having your cat neutered, and hope that your cats have a good, safe recovery as well. Until the next video, take care.